And salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today, Monday on Lions Talk Live. And you know what? We got basically a weekend of free agency now. You can see most of the big moves have probably happened, whether they're going to be trades or just flat out acquisitions, signed to new contracts with new teams. Where do you say the Lions are as far as the NFC power structure? Where do you think they are as far as the NFL overall? I'm going to say this. Overall, the Lions have very, very few glaring weaknesses or things to address. I'm going to guess most of us would agree that those topics will be addressed during the draft. Guard, defensive end, maybe some depth across the board. But as you can see from today's thumbnail, the topic is, hey, are the Lions Super Bowl or bust at this point? Do we really, as a fan base, believe that, hey, these guys are just as much a contender for the NFC North, the Super Bowl overall as anybody else? And I'm going to say this right now, it's hard to bet against the Detroit Lions. Their secondary on paper has improved exponentially. Their depth at the secondary position is just far better than it's been, it would appear, man, maybe since the 90s, when Ray Crockett and some of the other guys were out there, Benny Blades, etc., William White. But that's my point. This team doesn't seem to have any real true glaring hole, and the ones that they kind of have it on the offensive line and maybe an opposite pass rusher than Aiden Hutchinson or some depth here and there. I'm going to guess most of us would agree that will probably change exponentially during the draft. So what do you guys think? Are the Lions a top 2 team in the NFC? Are they the best team in the NFC? Are they top 4 or 5, etc.? Let's see what you guys have to say on that. Before we get going with today's show, though, as you guys probably know, and I always have running this every morning, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 5-6 subs away from hitting 6,100. So if you haven't yet subscribed and you're willing to do so, please consider it. Also, if you enjoyed today's content in the video, hit that thumbs up button. Last but never least, just because I've been doing this for an incredibly long time, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I have been and will be for a long time still a realtor. If you're looking for someone to work with you or for you on either the purchase or sale of property, give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. I know a lot of you in the state of Michigan have reached out, even some of you in other states. Glad to try to help you out in any way, shape, or form I can. So again, you see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me see what I can do to try to help you and your family out, either on the purchase of vacant land, a new house, sell your house. You get the gist. Give me a buzz. Let's see what we can do. All right. Let's go ahead and see what you guys have to say. Are the Lions Super Bowl contenders? I'm going to say to you, I think the defense is going to be better than anybody probably realistically expects. I do believe they came in with a concerted effort to try to make sure they match up well with Green Bay, Chicago, etc. I do believe their focus is win the division first and then worry about seeding. But I will say this, the NFC North is going to be one of the best divisions in all of football, I believe, this year. Are they going to be number 1, 2, or 3? We'll wait and see on that. But I do believe this is a powerhouse division, and if you win the division, you will be in contention for the number 1, 2 seed in the playoffs in the NFC. That also being said, I do believe San Francisco is going to be starting to show signs of decline this upcoming year. Yes, Detroit's schedule is going to be a lot tougher than it was last year, but you know what? Some of those games we thought were going to be so easy ended up actually being better than anticipated. And I think that's kind of the norm of the NFL. Teams get better, other teams drop. Guys get a little bit older, and we've talked a number of times on this show. You look back just 2 or 3 years ago on some of the stars in the league. Are they still stars now? Some of the guys that had to grow and develop become stars, and others decline. Just the rate of change in the NFL is, in my opinion, far faster than any other professional sport. So I'm going to say this. My prediction is right now, Detroit's going to be the number 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs. See what you guys have to say about that. But to me, that makes them Super Bowl contenders. The offense, I still think, is going to be very good, maybe even slightly better than last year, especially if they can figure out that third quarter woes on offense. They do that, they're instantly better. I think the running game is going to be sound. The offensive line, depending on what they do the rest of the way here, could the argument be it could be as good, maybe slightly better? I think the argument could be made. And again, a lot of that's going to depend on what they do with the other guard spot in the remaining portion of free agency or the draft. Defensive line, I think that's probably going to be the biggest improved area on the entire roster. I'm thinking we're going to get home. We're going to stop the run, and we're going to do it in a way that while we were good at stopping the run last year, we all know we had the pass rush issues. I don't think that's going to be as big a glaring topic this year. So see what you guys have to say. All right, JDC kicking us off. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully, have a great one. Anthony, good morning. Do Cruz, Super Bowl or bust, 1,000%. I like the way you're thinking. Anthony, woo! The first woo of the show. Hookadoo, good morning, Coach, and ever-growing number of the Do Crew, exclamation points. Go Lions, 100%. The Do Crew is growing. They're multiplying. You know what? Hey, won't be too long before we control the universe. What are we going to do tonight, Stimpy? Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world. Pinky in the Brain, if you guys remember that one. All right, Michael, great salutations, Coach and Do Crew, exclamation points. Agreed, and hopefully having a great morning there, Michael. Brent, good morning, Coach and Do Crew, Superdome or bust, exclamation point. Go Lions, 1,000%. So let me ask you guys, if you guys had to put out a way too early prediction on what the record's going to be this year, what do you think it's going to be? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say we're going to be basically a better team overall, but our record's going to be the same as last year with 12 wins. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan, Lions field, do it up. Dang right. We got about an hour until I'm going to go get the morning dew. All right, Anthony, go Lions. Agreed. Trump, woo! There you go. Robert G, good morning. Oh, good morning to you. All right, Robert and Michael, One Pride, 1,000%. Gary, I need to see Ben Johnson finally change up. When defenses stop what we were doing in the first half of games, he's kind of failed at that aspect. I would agree. I mean, last year continued what happened the year before, although it was more egregious in my opinion last year. The Lions, hey, they came out just like they did in the NFC title game. That was their norm throughout the majority of the season. Not all of it, but the majority. They'd come out, guns blazing, throwing the ball over the field, running all over the field. And then whatever happened at halftime, we just didn't have the counter punches for it. I do think that was a big reason why Dan Campbell in the NFC title game elected to go for it on fourth downs. I think he could see momentum starting to shift. He had some concerns that the defense wasn't going to be able to hold up as much. They kind of, in this scenario, the 49ers kind of figured out some of the holes and issues with the Lions defense. They were putting more and more pressure on us. So MCDC decided to roll the dice, try to extend drives, try to keep their offense off the field. But to your point, Gary, I think you're spot on, man. The team has got to, Ben Johnson and the offense has got to find out ways to not go an entire quarter figuring out adjustments. You guys have heard me talk about it on this channel for, I guess, over a year now. That we've been up over a year. One of the problems I have with younger coaches is they don't know what they don't know. And the only way to learn it is through experience, through repetitions. So when I watch Ben Johnson, when I watch Aaron Glenn, I see a lot of the same similarities. When somebody finds a counter punch to them, it takes them a while because of the lack of in-game adjustment experience to figure out how to get around that. Use Aaron Glenn as an example. When we played, who was it? Thanksgiving against the Packers and a week before against Ben Johnson, or excuse me, against the Chicago Bears. I guess to be fair, you could use both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn as examples here. You could see in both games, Chicago came out with some different adjustments on offense and defense. It took both coordinators a while to kind of adjust to it. In the second half, we were more effective against it than we were the first half because they did adjust to it. And the same held true against Green Bay. We talked about on this channel. Everybody was going to copy what the Bears did defensively to try to limit Detroit. Green Bay did that. And then the second half of that Thanksgiving Day game, Detroit did, fairly decent. The only problem is it took them a half. And my point being, throughout the season, while they got better with in-game adjustments, making them faster, I still do think it's one of their weaknesses. And hopefully this upcoming year, they're even better than they were last year. They just learned how to get around different scenarios quicker and quicker. All right, Anthony, tell you I'm running out of highlights of last year's season to watch, getting close to other websites or bust, need more football. You know what? Hey, the UFL season's kicking off soon. Hopefully that helps you out there. But, hey, we'll have the draft here in about a month too. Hopefully that helps you out there, Anthony. Okay, Anthony, yes, a little bit of laugh out loud. Obviously, I can't say all that on TV, but We get the gist. Gary, some sports writers try to say that Green Bay is better than Lions. Lions should have gotten Justin Fields. Guys will say anything to get their stories read. Yeah, and hey, man, that's part of the industry. It always has been since the 1800s, 1900s, 2000s. You're trying to sell newspapers back in the day. You try to come up with snaggy headlines to bring in readers, interest, etc. And it doesn't really change in today's media. That's probably going to be the same case 100 years from now as it was 100 years ago. To your point, though, has Green Bay supplanted the Detroit Lions? In my opinion, no. And that's me just trying to be as fair as possible. I think the Lions did a ton to improve this offseason, where Green Bay, I don't think they've got worse. I just don't think they got better. Maybe you can make an argument here and there they got slightly worse, but they do draft particularly well. They have a very young nucleus, just like the Lions. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to go with the Lions until I'm proven otherwise. I do wonder if Jordan Love is going to maintain what he did the last, 5, 6, 7 games of the season, or is he going to be more erratic now that people have more film on him? We'll have to wait and see there, Gary, but I think you got a good point. All right, Moonscar, top of the morning to you, Coach and the Dew crew, exclamation point. Hope everyone saved some corned beef for Rubens. There you go. You know what? We went, as I'm sure most of you guys know, when I wore the the jacket and everything Saturday, we went to a friend of ours' house, had a real St. Patty's Day event with a little bit of stuff left over, and I know I'll be taking care of that today. All right, Moonscar, I believe we are still considered a Super Bowl contender. More work to be done, though. 100%. The job never stops. If you're not improving, you're declining. So the moment you stop grinding, you're declining in life. And I believe that in sports, it's just that much faster when that happens. I think the Lions, we've got a good history of drafting and drafting well under this regime. I am going to anticipate that's going to continue. Who Brad Holmes ultimately goes after, what we draft, what we take, what trades we may do in the draft, all that's going to be pure speculation on our behalf. I know I've talked about it. I think there's more depth at interior offensive linemen than perhaps any other position in this year's draft. So is there a strong possibility the Lions move up in the draft or down in the draft or whatever to acquire more draft picks? Or maybe there's a particular player they want to get at 15, 18, 20, whatever it is. I do think they're going to be more assertive and aggressive early in the draft than perhaps they normally are. I could totally see us going up and trying to get a premium defensive end, maybe in the late teens, early 20s. I think to go beyond that, you're going to have to give up too much to make that happen. That being said, once you do that, could you go out and now draft somebody in the second round that's going to be our starting, left guard or right guard, depending on where you put Glasgow? I think that's also possible. All right, John, good morning, Dew crew, exclamation points. I like our chances this year to get back to the NFC title game. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Detroit wins the North. I think they've got a real good chance to be the number 1 seed. I think Dallas and the 49ers are going to be declining a little bit this year. Doesn't mean they're going to drop to like 8 wins or 9 wins, but I don't think they're going to be as strong as they were last year. That also being said, I would expect Philly to bounce back. If they don't bounce back this year, you're going to see a lot of heads roll in that organization, from maybe the GM, the head coach, players. Yeah, you'll see a massive, massive run on that team. You also see some other teams get better. I mean, Tampa Bay, I think, will be better. You get the gist. It's going to be a battle. Green Bay is going to be very good. But I'm with you. I think Detroit has a real good chance to get back to the title game, and from there, potentially the Super Bowl. Bo, what do you got? Good morning, Dew crew. Yes! Exclamation point. Superdome or bust! Exclamation points. Iowa State cornerback TJ Tampa, 6'2", 200 pounds, on the radar? I think so. It's just, I wonder about, just how the draft lines up, our positions in it. Will we be able to go after him without maybe some trades in different spots? Then I don't know. If he slips to us, do we acquire him? Boy, man, with the secondary we currently have, I guess it depends on where you're able to get him at. I just think they probably have at this point some other needs, but he's a talent without question there, Bo. All right, Trumps, what do you got? Dew, there you go. Yes, I will be 45 minutes from going to get that morning dew. All right, Anthony, thank you for all your t-shirt orders. I've said, taking orders until the 23rd. Coach, please put my contact information Go Lions. Yeah, I think I got your message earlier, Anthony, before we went on air, and I put it in the comment section. So let me know if you need anything else from me, man. And thank you for all you're doing for the show and the channel. Lions fan number one, greetings, salutations all. I'm calling the shot, exclamation point. We draft Jackson Powers Johnson in the first and trade back to get Nealon from WMU. It seems like the Nealon chatter for Detroit is growing exponentially. And again, I'll say this. I think he's a physical specimen. I think he's very rare when it comes to that standpoint. I cannot tell you anything about his personality type. I just haven't heard him talk. I haven't had that access to him doing an extended, 3, 4, 5 minute interview where you can kind of analyze his personality quirks and traits. Now, being that as it may, if you look at that kid's just raw numbers, man, if the Lions could end up getting him and they don't need him to produce at a high level this year, I think long term, yeah, he could be something and be something very, very special. Jackson Powers Johnson, I think we all agree if the Lions should somehow have an avenue to acquire him, he probably would be a day one starter, more than likely as a guard. The kid's rare. He's special. To your point, Lions fan, if you could get both of them, and assuming just for the sake of discussion, let's just say maybe they either start or just produce get a ton of snaps this year, then I think, man, for as talented as this team is and deep, you've got really something there in a fourth straight draft where you're getting players who are going to impact this roster for the foreseeable future. And that would be huge for the team. I could see us real quick. I could see us trading some picks away to try to get 2 or 3 impactful players out of this year's draft. So we'll see what happens. All right, Brett, as great as last season was, I think the Lions do even better. Better this year and will win it all. Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, as good as last year was, yeah, you left something on the table. I think most Lions fans would agree. Now that you've had a month or so to get away from the title game, hey, what a great season. Nobody probably, honestly, in Lions fandom predicted it or whatever. But what a great season. You got 2 playoff wins. You won the North. Just a lot of good momentum going into this season. To your point also, though, Brent, this team's probably going to be better than last year's team. You've lost very few pieces from it. You are incredibly young, where a lot of those younger players should actually be better and continue to grow this season. So, yeah, I think, hey, Super Bowl or bust. If you're not getting to the Super Bowl this year, that would probably be a down year for most fans. All right, Trump's going to call the shot here and say 17-0. All right, we're gonna kick the Miami Dolphins finally out of that record book for greatest season ever. All right, Mike the Marine. My wife made some excellent Reuben sandwiches and watched The Quiet Man. I don't know The Quiet Man, so I'll have to figure out what that is and watch it. But hey, I'm glad you got some good Reuben sandwiches. All right, Trump, hit the like button. Yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you would be so kind and you like today's content, hit the thumbs up button thingy. So thank you for that. I can't see on my end how many likes or anything like that there are. All right, Brent, 5-1 in the North, splitting with the Packers. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. The big question I think is going to be, as far as the North, let me walk that back. I guess there'll be 2 big questions. One, what do the Vikings do at quarterback? I get Sam Darnold will probably start the year. Now, does he start the first 2, 3, 4 games? I guess we'll wait and see. But they're clearly going to go after, I would at least anticipate, a rookie quarterback to groom. Whether or not they're starting that individual this year, who's that quarterback going to be? And there's speculation for sure. It's going to be this person, that person. Who do you guys think? And then Chicago, kind of the same situation at this point. Caleb Williams, I'm guessing, is going to be the number 1 draft pick. Maybe they go Drake or somebody else, but I'm guessing Caleb Williams. And are they going to put him out there from week 1? And there's no right or wrong way to do it. What I would do as a coach, I'd probably sit him for the first year. Maybe get him some games late in the year or whatever. But the vast majority of that rookie year, they're probably sitting, taking it all in. I'm just not a big fan of rushing that position out on the field. I think it usually, from a mathematical standpoint, deteriorates quarterbacks at a far faster rate than it does improve them. You do have exceptions to the rule. Troy Aikman, I know, went through it, and there's been tons of other guys like Peyton Manning that have gone through it. So they do work from time to time, but but I also think sitting him would be better for most quarterbacks. All right, Bo. Our Hillary step was San Francisco. All right. Will there be a final Everest-sized obstacle again? Whew. I'm going to use the Detroit Pistons of the 80s and 90s to correlate with this, but I think you're 100% right. I think San Francisco was the mountain we had to get over. And from there, if we learn from it, it keeps us focused, then next year, oh boy, who would be the equivalent? It's probably, my guess, it's probably going to be the Packers. Again, I do think Dallas is going to be relevant this year. Same with San Francisco, but I'm anticipating them to start to decline. What San Francisco has done the last 5 years, I mean, that's impressive. That's dang impressive. But they've also given up a lot of draft capital to acquire different guys. Whether the drafts are always worked out or not, that's debatable. But I do think they're getting a little old in a couple of key spots. And like we talked about earlier on the show, for the past year, when age really starts setting in on the NFL player, it doesn't just slightly decline. Usually it's a massive decline, unfortunately, for a lot of players. Not everybody, but I think the vast majority of them, you can see when Father Time is finally caught up with them. I'm anticipating that to happen to both of those teams, which means, hey, Philly is in a great spot to bounce back. I do think they will. If they don't, like I said, heads are going to roll there. But Bo, to your point, I think it's going to be the Packers. All right. There's the information, by the way, if you want to get a hold of Anthony to order a Dude Crew t-shirt, go ahead and write that down and give him a call or shoot him a text. All right, Moonscar, who do we see as our biggest threat now to win the NFC North? Bears, Vikings, Packers, all question marks, or our first place schedule? I think it's going to be the Packers. I'm anticipating Jordan Love is going to be basically what Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers was for that franchise. I think he's going to continue that trend at quarterback play. They've got a ton of great talent, especially young talent. The Bears and Vikings, the Bears have improved from a talent standpoint, but now your biggest position of need on the team appears to be a rookie quarterback. Not saying they can't be the greatest rookie quarterback ever, not saying they can't be a very good one, but I would just say the vast majority of NFL history shows rookie quarterbacks are going to struggle. I also think we are going to blitz a ton this year, which is why we've acquired those guys in the secondary we have. Also, why someone like Betts, Houston, and other defensive ends are going to be incorporated more this year, I think, because their speed and athleticism. I think they're going to work those guys open versus just asking those guys to win a ton of one-on-ones over and over. I think Brian Branch, Ife Melifanu, a ton of guys are going to be using blitz packages. I think that's going to pay off against a rookie quarterback, either against the Bears or the Vikings, as you suggest, Moonscar. I think they're going to have a tough time with Detroit's defense this year. At least that's what I'm anticipating. Look-a-do. I ordered mine yesterday, Coach. Hey, talk to him about it. He did a great job designing them. Anthony's handling that. I'm very thankful he's handling that. Just one less thing I got to do. Moonscar, let's say Bears draft Caleb. Yeah, I think that's probably what most people are anticipating. I don't know if you guys heard Ryan Leaf talk about it, but I do think there's going to be a learning curve that he's going to have to go through to be an NFL quarterback. Some of the stuff that he relied on to get out of pressure and such, can it translate to the NFL? 100%. Is he going to do it the same ability or way that, say, Justin Fields did it? Probably not. And I do think he's going to have some struggles early in his career, just having to make those subtle changes pre-snap and post-snap that most quarterbacks have to make. Now, the speed of the game comes the factor. When he breaks pocket and he tries to throw on the run, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to the speed of the defenses, the fact that those guys can close faster. And you guys heard me talk about it. One of the things I like with all the corners they brought in this year is their radius with their wingspans. These guys can get after passes, and it doesn't mean they're going to get 20 picks or something, but they can deflect or shut down a lot of passing angles. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's go. Greetings and salutations. Or excuse me, Robert. Greetings and salutations. Back at you, my friend. Brent, thanks for the help yesterday, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony's a good dude. Listen to him. He knows more about the T-shirt stuff than I do. All right, Doug, what do you got? Greetings and salutations. I'm thinking we win the North again, but like last year, Green Bay, maybe Chicago, give us a run. To me, the question will become, can we snag the number one seed? I think so. I think if you get the NFC North, you've got a good shot at getting the number one seed, or at least, hey, number one or number two, and I'm pushing for one. Malcolm, good morning, all. Back at you. Anthony, no problem. Thanks for your order. 100%. Hatman, good morning, Dan and Do family. Good morning to you. Hopefully having to do one. Berg time, good morning, Do crew and Dan the man. Woo! Thanks, Bergs, for that and all you do for the channel. You do a ton, man. Robert G, unfortunately, only time will tell what the future holds for Lions. Yes, this is true. We're all going to have to wait until September and see how the season unfolds. Jess, what's happening, y'all? Question mark. Anyone know our updated remaining cap space? I want to say it's like 24 mil, something right around there. And you understand you're going to keep 6-7 million for the rookies. Then probably also about the amount for in-season adjustments, maybe even a little bit more. So let's just say, I don't know, man, you probably got 10 to 12 million left if you want to sign a few more free agents this year. That sounds about right to me, at least. All right, John King, I would not say bust. Any of the final 5 or 6 teams are usually capable of winning, just comes down to a play or two. We are good enough. Yeah, I agree. You get to a certain point, the margin between team A and B is typically pretty dang small. So yeah, like you say, John, just a couple plays will separate the final, 4 or 6 teams or such. You just need to make sure that you've done everything you can to have depth to combat injuries that happen over the season, but also for in the moment, if you have guys that perform in certain situations better than others, you've got that kind of leverage. All right, Dave, what do you got? Agreed. We are overall solid everywhere on the team. We can do this 100%. Yes, we can do this. We can be the number 1 seed. We can get to the Super Bowl. David, what do you got? And greetings and salutations all back at you. All right, Bo, what do you got? Green Bay will be our biggest competition in the North. Bears coaching leaves a lot to be desired. Vikings need a quarterback. Yeah, I'd say all that's pretty spot on. And we'll see. The Bears coaching staff, I think they're being put in a bad situation because if Caleb Williams or whoever does need a little time to groom and develop, boy, they have to be aware they got to get wins or better results in order to keep their jobs. That's a tough spot for a coach to be in because what's right for the player and right for you may be 2 different things for your career. All right, Clark, good morning, everyone. Any clue what Minnie is going to target or who Minnie is going to target at quarterback? A lot of speculation, but I don't think there's any real firm ideas. I know people are speculating they're going to trade that now second first-round pick along with their original first-round pick up to try to acquire a quarterback. See what happens, though. Ed, the Lions have 78 players on the roster right now, can hold up to 90 before cuts. MCDC and company is going to push the competition training season. Yeah, I agree. And, hey, as a coach, that I'm all for it, man. Every position, every player on this team has to come out and grind every day in practice to earn your spot and to earn your snaps, whether you're going to be a starter or backup or whatever. So I'm all for it. Moonscar, over the cap shows the Lions at just under 30 million. Okay, so I wasn't that far off. I knew it was somewhere right around there. And thanks for that, Moonscar. Papa Noel, Ed, I, for one, like that. Make everyone work for what they get. Yeah, 100%. Make them grind. That's going to make everybody better, too. The more you have to focus, the more you have to go after things in practice, the better you're going to end up being. All right, Matthew, we still have one or two holes to fill, but this is the closest we have been in a long time to being a true Super Bowl contender. I agree. Obviously we're on the cusp of it last year. The team seems to have improved exponentially from a season ago. Now, can you improve it even more with the draft? I agree. We should be pretty good. All right, just say, good morning, all. Good morning to you. Brent, 2 days in a row of snow in Twin Lakes. I'm ready for spring and training camp. There you go. Exclamation point. Yeah, I know we got some flurries yesterday, and it got cold, man. Cold and hurry. All right, Brent. Lions and Super Bowl in the same sentence. Times have changed for the better. Finally. Exclamation point, and I agree. Thaddeus, right? There you go. LOL. There you go. Let's see. Ed, my most underrated and going to be the most improved player this season is cornerback Vildor. He had some bad breaks last season. He did. But the kid was always near the ball, never out of position. No, I agree. He could have easily changed the narrative on him with 1 or 2 plays. And unfortunately, as you point out, Ed, the ball just didn't bounce his way. He's got some speed. He's got some range. He can get in and out of cuts. So can this coaching staff develop him, grow him a little bit more? If they can do that, then I think you've got a real diamond in the rough there. Silver Surfer, agree on Vildor. Me too. Hookadoo, Brent, I haven't seen the Lions like this since the 91 Central Champs. Yeah, it's been a while, man. A real long while. Silver Surfer, the background has changed. However good you might think the Lions have gotten, it starts with Sheila. Yeah, give her a ton of praise. She came in, she identified some weaknesses with the franchise and the team, said, hey, I need to bring in some people to help me with this. She brings in Spielman, among other people, to help them out. They make the hire of MCDC, then they hire Brad Holmes. It's been a trickle-down effect since then. They corrected some things at the top, and that has exponentially improved this team and franchise. Property Lord agrees. Salutations, everyone. Back at you. Silver Surfer, good morning, coach, and everyone else. Yes, agreed to everybody. Have a great morning. And thanks, Surfer. Joseph, I think if we can make it to the top of our division, we would definitely be the Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, you win the division, you're going to be in a real good spot for seeding, hosting a playoff game, and contending for the Super Bowl. I concur. Trump's Vildor is decent. Yeah, and you know what, man, that cornerback room, anybody who wants to get on that field, they're going to be grinding just to make the roster. All right, Hatman, come on, family. Let's hit that like button. Even though I watch it later, not enough likes. All right, yeah, go ahead. Help Hatman out. Help me out. Help the channel out. Hit that thumbs up button thingy. All right, Joseph. Oh, and good greetings, salutations, coach and do crew. Back at you. Hopefully, you're having a great one, Joseph. Ed, no excuse for Ben Johnson this season or MCDC. If the run game is working, keep running the ball, especially if we can get another good young guard to pair with Sewell. Yeah, I'm going to guess they're going to try to work on the offensive line still this year. But to your point, man, I overall, trying to be fair, I think most of us were happy with the offense last year. It's really just that third quarter lull, whatever you want to call it. They fell down repeatedly throughout the third quarter, just couldn't produce. They fixed that. They could be really dangerous this year on offense. Anthony, truly believe that a 14-3 record with a Super Bowl this year. I'll go with that, man. I think all Lions fans would be okay with that. So I'm going to hold you to that, Anthony. Trump, San Francisco fourth quarter comeback was pure, luck. We'll go with that. And they did, but they got the ball to bounce their way. We did not. All right, Robert G, definitely Super Bowl contenders, exclamation points. I'll go with that. I concur. Bo, I'm excited about the draft. I'm more excited about seeing the growth of our younger players. 100%. And this team is so young. And I know I mentioned the Packers are too, but both teams have a ton of very good young talent. That talent should continue to develop and rise. And you know what? We just need to keep doing that, keep drafting well, keep developing players. This franchise will be relevant for the foreseeable future. Taylor, greetings and salutations. Give me Zach or a Zach or both. Offensive guard / center in first round. They've got some real options where they could go for the offensive line in the first round. And I do believe they're going to have a a few different options present themselves to Detroit Lions if they stay in that first round selection. All right, Hatman, we are easily a top 3 in the NFC and top 6 in the NFL. I'll go with that. I would agree with that 100%. Joseph, record is getting better each and every year. Do y'all think we make it to an undefeated season before it's over? I think is it possible? Sure, it's possible. I just think, man, going undefeated in the NFL, the regular season, that's just dang tough because it's such a long season, such a grind, and such a physical season. But we've got as good a chance as anybody. That's what I will say. Mr. Nico, as a person who does a lot of scouting, how much have you been enjoying watching Brad Holmes on his scouting abilities? He does a great job. And the reasons for that, I think, are multi-layered. I think he does rely and listen to his scouts. He clearly, at least in my opinion, I should say, he has a comfortableness with them. He has a trust with them. So start with that. Now, without knowing all the roles of all the different scouts, they have to have somebody, whether it's Brad Holmes or somebody else, 1 or 2 people on staff that do personality trait evaluations, not worrying about the raw numbers, not worrying about 40 times, cone drill, bench press, anything, just sitting there analyzing tape on these people anytime they talk to find out a baseline for them. This is who they are internally. All of it going in, though, Nico, just make this without being a 15-minute answer. I will say this, it is really fun seeing what they do over and over again, because to me, it means they have a system in place and probably had it when they were hired and came in. This is how we're going to select players, and we're going to stick to that hell or high water. And you know what? It's worked incredibly well for them. Give them props and praise. All right, Michael, Lions top 2. All right, I'll go with that, and I would agree with that. Yeah, man, tell Bobby we love her. I will do just that. Like I said, I know she's happier now that she knows where she's going to go and that she has a job still, because you could see for a while, man, she was feeling it. But I will tell her that that you guys, the Duke crew, all say we love her. All right, Joseph, what you got? The Duke crew is going to reach 10,000 plus before the season starts this year. It could happen. I mean, the fact that we're over 6,000, that's that surprised me, man. But hey, we'll keep the Duke crew growing, and like I said, we're gonna have to organize a Duke crew tailgate for one of the early season games where the weather's gonna be good. Everybody wants to come out. Early season, got a lot of hype behind it. All right, Sir Richard, greetings, salutations, morning. Got to take kids to school, but I'll watch when I get back. Well, enjoy it. Get the kids safely to school. We'll see you when you get back. Burger Time, definitely Super Bowl contenders, unfinished business. I agree. Got to get that Super Bowl this year. Hookadoo, for sure they are contenders. Go Lions, 100%. And good morning to you, Hookadoo. Gary, I think Lions' most complete team with able backups. Yeah, especially at multiple different spots. You're going to have some dudes coming in off that bench. All right, Surfer, sure hope MCDC grows as a coach and starts trusting his players, starting with the kicker, and stop looking at stat sheets during a battle. Go Bashley. Hey, we'll see if he grows to rely on the kicker a little bit more. And I won't be surprised if they bring another kicker to at least provide some competition for that position. Bo, get the first seed, exclamation point, contenders, question mark. I say favorite. We'll go with favorite. I like the way you're wording it there, Bo, and thank you for that. Anthony, if you haven't already ordered your Duke Crew t-shirts, order now. Helps support the channel. Yeah, I put Anthony's contact information in the comments section earlier. So if you want to order one, you've got, I think, whatever it is, 5 more days. Go ahead and contact him. Robert G, they play better when they play better teams. They do. They rise to the occasion. All right, Trump 17-0, baby. We'll go with that. Undefeated season. Trump's calling it. He's called it 2 times. He's speaking it into existence. Gary, we have why have we played in Dallas 7 of the last 9 games? Hey, you're going to have to ask the NFL on that one. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm surprised they don't alternate year to year, but it is what it is. You're going to have to go on the road and get that win. Hookadoo. Hey, Anthony, I'll get my payment in the mail today for the t-shirt. There you go. Yeah, talk to him and get it done. Dale, for sure, contenders, injuries is always a key. It is. And you know what? At least on paper, we seem to have a lot of capable backups at virtually every position out there. So be thankful for that. Chandler, or what do you got? Why are Levi and Pascal being underrated? Those two have a monster season in 2004. Yeah, they may have real good breakout years. And I know we've talked about with Onzarike, because of his spinal back fusion, maybe there have been a couple people on the channel that have said, hey, they've gone through that. It really takes a year or so for you to start getting normalized. Maybe this will be a better year for him just because he's had that time to rest the back. Pascal, to your point, I think other than some injuries slowing him down, he's shown steady progression or improvement. So could it be this year if he's healthy throughout the season, he has a real breakout season? Absolutely. Hey, man, 90 in the house, only 22 likes. Yes, I show at least right now, and I'm about a half hour behind you guys through the comments. We've got 200 in the chat, so if you guys would be so kind, hit that thumbs up thing. All right, Michael, 13 wins. I'll go with that. Bo, 14-5 regular season. We'll take that. And no matter what happens, good season or bad, it will be extremely difficult to keep both coaches anyways. If bad, it'll be hard to find a reason to keep AG with his improved defense. That's also true, man. I know Aaron Glenn, right, wrong, different, justified, take or not, has seen his fair share of detractors over his 3 seasons here. If they do not improve or perform at a high rate this year, then yes, I think Aaron Glenn, again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just the nature of being a coach. He could become a scapegoat. Ben Johnson, if he has a bad year, then probably some of the shine comes off his star. He's probably returning. If he has another great year, though, at some point he's going to take an offer. I know he's turned it down 2 straight years. I just think he's going to get an opportunity. All right, Bo, 14-3 regular season. Go with that. Hey, I'll take that over the 14-5. All right, Joseph. We will have 15 wins this year. I'll take it. And no questions asked. Joseph, in regular season. Hey, man, we get a 15-win regular season. I'm going to guess we're the number 1 seed. Trump, maybe we draft a big running back that will be nice for short yards. Could be. Maybe I can see that maybe in the later rounds. Taylor made a good point on churn in the NFL. For example, Odell Beckham Jr. Ain't been the same since he left the Giants. No, he's, in my opinion, his time with the Rams and other teams, he's living off a name, not his performance or abilities at this point. Man, just the NFL, it churns and chews guys up so fast. This is why I want to say the average lifespan of an NFL career is like 3.5 seasons or maybe it's 4 seasons. But superstars don't remain superstars typically very long just because of that, especially if you're talking high impact spots like running back, offensive line, defensive line. There are very few Chris Joneses out there that get into their 30s and still just have it. Aaron Donald, I get he just retired, but you could see last year he wasn't the Aaron Donald most of us recall. Not that he was bad, but he was losing some of it, and I'm guessing that's why he decided to end his career. Now, you could probably tell that maybe some of his desire, some of the impact on his knees, legs, joints were starting to happen, and he just didn't want to do that. Bo, what do you got? Monty is a good short yardage back. He is. Hookadoo, Duke Crew, these T-shirts are well worth a look. I didn't realize they had 2 different images, front and back, and choice of colors. Yeah, have Anthony maybe can text you some or whatever. Yeah, but he's done a phenomenal job with them. Trump, nice to have a solid backup. Yes, always nice to have good backups. Both T-shirts are awesome. Great work, Anthony. Yeah, give him some shout outs for that. All right, Silver Server, as Han Solo told C-3PO in Star Wars as the droid was always trying to explain to him that he had only one chance over a few men to go through the asteroid field. Never tell him, yeah, give me the odds. Yeah, never give him the odds. Exactly. All right, Ed, what do you got? No matter what, we are capable and should win 10 games. That's enough to get in the playoffs. That's the new expectation. I would agree. Playoffs are going to be the norm here. And the playoffs will take care of itself. We have the talent now. We do. And now, hey, can you win the North? Can you secure at least one or so playoff games at home at Ford Field? This is true. Andy, thank you for the support of the channel. Yeah, guys, anything you do to help support the channel, thank you very much. And thank you, Anthony, for all you're doing. All right, Bo, Greeny is a scrub. Don't care what he says. Yeah, and probably to a degree, he's probably looking to get views. I mean, that's how he stays employed, man. All right, Southwest Line, good morning, all. In-game adjustments is an area of improvement for both coordinators. I would agree, but players have responsibility in the 49ers game too. Drop pass by Reynolds, Gibbs fumble, 2 to 3 dropped INTs. Yeah, you hold on. I mean, think about that. You hold on to the first down catch by Reynolds, the first 4th down conversion, you probably win that game. You get 1 or 2 of those interceptions, you probably win the game. Gibbs doesn't fumble, and you actually go down and chew up some clock, maybe score, you probably win that game. So, yeah, game of inches, as it should be at that point in the season. And you know what? Boom. Unfortunately for the Lions, they just didn't get enough of those plays. All right, Silver Server. I'd like the coach and the quarterback to have Han Solo way of thinking. Yeah, one could argue MCDC is very much like Han Solo in that he rolls the dice, man. He goes after it, and then if he gets it, he gets praise. If he doesn't, well, then he's probably slamming the Millennium Falcon into the asteroid. All right, Matthew. Part of AG's lack of adjustments is that he has less to work with. This year will have no excuse. I would agree with that. With the additions to the defense, just in free agency, it should be 100% better. Yeah, and if they can now, to your point, Matthew, add some more talent via the draft, yeah, that defense should be exponentially better. And Jason, I think we're a Gilmore and a guard away from a complete championship roster. With Reading signing, that's enough to make the Houston/Davenport CFL import edge trio opposite Hutchinson enough. Yeah, I'll go with that, man, 100%. And yeah, if you can maybe add just a little bit more via the draft or maybe free agency, then this team gets very, very deep. Joseph, Joe Scannell, do you think they will get better at tackling? We had too many missed tackles against yeah, we did in a couple different spots. Yeah, against the Rams, against the 49ers. I want to say maybe there's 1 or 2 plays against Tampa Bay in the playoffs, that is, where yeah, we just didn't tackle well. They're going to have to improve all that. And obviously, it's a game of attrition, rights and wrongs, and you need to make sure you're getting as many of those rights as possible. All right, Surfer. Now, as we said yesterday, Branch is slot and substitute strong safety. As you suggested, they might use another one of those cornerbacks as free safety. Could it be Vildor or Mosley? Gilmore is new and too light. No, I think you're spot on it, and I know we did talk about it yesterday. That to me, it's very possible they may not acquire another safety or in the draft or whatever, because you look at your depth at your secondary you currently have. Some of these guys, especially if you're going to play man-to-man across the board the vast majority of the time, your outside corner and your free safety are pretty similar. The only difference is going to be just where you line them up on the field. But think about the amount of flexibility you now have out there. You're going to probably have a little bit better coverage out of a corner who's moved to that position than someone who's played the safety spot all along. And that's not always the case, but the majority of the time. To your point also, Surfer, moving Brian Branch to another strong safety position, I mean, that's him to a T. So I don't think there'd be a problem at all. And it's the fact that he can cover as well as he can and hit. Yeah, he's rare, and that's why I'm expecting he will be a consideration for a Pro Bowl bid this year. JDC at Chumps Genius, load those stars and bars. There you go. All right, Anthony, our division teams are definitely trying to play catch up. Our running back duo, I believe, best in the league, and the addition of Reader, we have answers for the I think to your point, Anthony, we added Reader and probably will add some more in the draft to help beef up that defensive line to slow down opposing running games. We want to make teams as one-dimensional offensively as we can. So I get that, man. Good point. All right, Trump's God Bless America, 100%. Yes, 100%. And yes, you have an impressive thumbnail. All right, Man Bear, greetings and salutations to the crew. Yes, and good morning to you too. Hopefully have a great one. Miles, good morning, coaching crew, 100%. And thank you for that. Back at you. All right, Robert G., if anyone can predict what Brad will do in the draft, should go to Vegas and bet it all on the Lions to win it all. There you go. That would be a heck of a payday, I'm guessing, if you could do that. And you can do it. It's just I would not advise it. I do not give financial advice. Robert Bolt would see need O-line help, guard / center. Solve that and tops in the NFC. I agree, man. I 100% agree. Go ahead and get that whoever may be in the draft, but get somebody in there, get somebody who can just grind and, get after it, and somebody who's good in pass protection too, because that's Scoresdale. I don't think was bad in run blocking. He was not good by any stretch in pass blocking, especially from the guard spot. All right, Broski. Brent went on drugs. It happens, man. All right, Broski Bears will win both games against Lions. All right, he's calling the shot. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go with this. We'll have to see what the quarterback play is out of that rookie quarterback. I'm assuming at least it'll be a rookie quarterback for the Bears. Trumps draft a bad guy running back for insurance. There you go, a bad boy running back. Trump's hi Bear. That's not happening with a new quarterback. I would say, yeah, at least historically speaking, most rookies are going to struggle. And I think what the Lions are going to try to do on defense this year, they're going to, whoever's going to be under center for Minnesota and or Chicago is going to face some challenges. We'll put it that way. Surfer, the Lions win the division, losing two of the to the Bears, and perhaps going 15-2. I'd be good with that. Hey, if we go 15-2 in our only losses to the Chicago Bears, yeah, we'd all take that. Anthony Broski, who's your drug dealer? This needs this number. Must have some good stuff. We'll go with that. Lions Talk Chat Sports. Hey, Micro Mike, what up, man? How you doing, man? Hopefully a good one, Micro. Anthony, good morning, Micro. Yes. Robert G. Hey, Eminem, Micro Mike. Micro Mike. Anthony, good morning. Hookadoo, Broski, wake up. You're having a dream. He could be having a good dream. All right, JDC, Silver Surfer, I was thinking the same. Thumbs up. All right. Micro Mike, Robert G, good morning. Trump's, if Bears keep their quarterback and trade for more picks, they would have a chance with a rookie quarterback. Unlikely. Yeah, I'd say winning, especially against higher end teams with a rookie quarterback, is usually not a strong option. All right, Silver Server, just wanted to state that, yes, I respect the like of the chat of Powers Johnson, but I believe Zach Frazier, West Virginia, offensive guard / center, will be an all-pro. Just instinct way of Frazier, coach. Yeah, excuse me. I get it, man. They're both pretty good, and hey, I'll let you guys debate who should be the pick if they're both there when we select. Server coach, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones might have a big role in next year's offense, bigger than Khalif Raymond. Thoughts on that? They're both very different, and so that's why I'll say Khalif. Man, he's so lightning fast, and when he runs his sweeps and such, he's hard for defensive players to see behind the offensive line because he's not tall, man. But how about this, Surfer? I can see them both having very big roles with the team. All right, Broski, Trump's genius, good morning. Fields was extremely below average, but played well against Lions. This is true. With the supporting cast, the rookie quarterback will have, he will be better this year. Quarterback will have, he will be better this rookie year than Fields ever had. I mean, I will say this, Broski, you guys have improved the team a ton. To me, my only question is going to be, like it is for most rookies, what can you do and how quickly can you adjust with the route tree negotiations between you, your tight ends, receivers, running backs, and then the pre and post snap reads and adjustments quarterbacks have to make. Early in the season, it's fair to say every rookie is going to struggle with that. I don't care who you are. But as the season progresses, that's where, they get more and more experience. They get more comfortable, more understanding what to do here and there, those situations. They're caught off guard less and less with different formations. I just anticipate with any rookie, the first season is going to be a struggle. Now, can you help that out with a great defense, which you guys do have, and a strong running game? We'll see how the running game goes for you guys. That offensive line is also not going to be a help for a rookie quarterback, in my opinion. Maybe they're better than I anticipate, but I'm going to guess as much as Detroit's going to put heat on opposing teams this year, the offensive line and the running game are going to be big problems for that rookie quarterback. All right, Burger time. I have a lot of respect for Anthony, and what a great guy. Hats off to you, my friend. Yeah, what he's done for the channel, helping me out. Thank you so much. The non-laughers, $2. All right, well, I want my $2, 100%. Broski, Anthony, I think you should stay in state and ask Brent. Apparently, he has one heck of a plug. There you go. David, good morning, all. Woo! 100%. And good morning to you, David. Trump, we bring heat this year. Bear, I don't see a rookie handling that. Yeah, especially in fairness to whoever they have under center with that offensive line. You've got to be able to protect. You got to be able to keep rushers off, and you're going to have to be able to run the ball. That's where I think a rookie in Chicago this year, whoever it may be, more than likely is going to have some real learning opportunities this year. But maybe they address the offensive line. Maybe it is going to be better than anticipated. But right now, I'd say it's a bad setup. Robert, speaking of hats, you should make up some hats to sell. There you go, Anthony. That's a good idea. People like hats. All right, John Doe, reports our Vikings are targeting May and McCarthy. Yeah, we'll see if they can trade up and get one of them. And John, one of the Vikings coaches has a history with May, though. So there you go. All right, Broski, Trump's genius. Texans won their division and a playoff game with a rookie quarterback and a rookie center. This is true. This is very true. All right, Sanders, let's see. If Holmes strikes out in the draft, we should be concerned. Yeah, should we be concerned? Nah, I would say the chance of him striking out this year, you just based on history, are probably pretty slim. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but I'm going to say this, as I've often said, the trend is your friend. He's done very well this year in every season, but to your point, if he strikes out this year, I would say for now, it's the asterisk, not the rule. If he does it 2 or 3 or 4 years in a row, he's probably out of a job, to be fair. All right, Trump's, they didn't play the Lions. They did not play the Lions. This is also a true point. All right, John Doe, that 92-yard touchdown by C.D. Lamb shouldn't have happened on Vildor if Barnes didn't whiff on the sack. This is also true, but he redeemed himself later, of course. He did. So, hey, game of inches, I'm not still to this day, I don't know what Barnes was thinking there. He basically just ran right past him. I don't know if he was worried about getting flagged for roughness or something, but yeah, it should have been a safety, not a touchdown. All right, Surfer, I have been beating the drum for a big, powerful running back or halfback for a long time. So, yes, I agree with Mr. Trump's. Only one little problem. Apparently, those are nowhere to be found nowadays. No, yeah, they're just not a ton of guys built like that who play running back like that a ton anymore. All right, Burger Time, absolutely. Silver Surfer, Sheila deserves a lot of credit. She does. She does. 9 drinks. Good morning, Duke Crew. Made about 20 Rubens this weekend. Well, hey, you know how to get a hold of me if you need someone to take one or two off your hands. Broski Bear, Lions defense needs to show me they have some teeth this season to believe they'll take the next step. Need another wide receiver to step up too. Hey, when it hurt to have a receiver step up, I do think Jameson Williams is going to have a breakout season. I think you saw signs of him improving a ton last year, and I think another offseason to help. Yeah, he's going to be all right. Dunkunk, Superdome or bust, 100% made the thumbnail in your honor, Donkey. All right, let's see. Tordale, I wouldn't mind Brad giving Chase Young a 1-year prove-it deal. Would they do that? Man, who knows? But if he does, then he's got himself to prove a season with Detroit. All right, John Doe Smith is an underrated pickup. Think he will push for that number 4 wide receiver spot. Yeah, Tyquan Smith. Yeah, he might, man. He might. And the Lions, the good thing we can say throughout almost the entire team is they've got depth everywhere. And just to get on the field, just to make the roster, you're going to have to perform exponentially well in training camp. Somebody pointed out earlier, we've got like 75, 80 guys already signed. You can keep 90. And then from there, you're going to see a lot of people get trimmed down. There are going to be some real good players that are going to be cut from the Detroit Lions. We're going to be picked up somewhere else. Robert G, what up? Question mark, DK. All right. Don Kong, hi, Robert. Freezing in Green Bay this week. All right. We'll try to stay warm, man. Berg time. It's the third quarter hangover. They need to address them. They are unstoppable. Yeah, they fix that. This offense will go another level. Robert G, I hear you. David, where is Evan Brown at for he would be a great return? Hey, could they sign him? I know a lot of people have speculated on it. I just wonder what his contract demands are. Robert G is freezing. Anthony, hey, thank you for that, Berg. Yeah, Burger Time's done a great job, and both of you guys have helped me out a ton. Man, 8 feet snow up here, 8 inches of snow up here, west end of UP. Ugh, is it? Boy, I'm surprised you guys are still getting hammered like that. But to be fair, we're getting some snow down here too. Man, gonna paint it blue and silver. There you go. Paint the snow blue and silver. All right, JDC. Hooper's in the house. Yes, Hooperville. Hoopers, excuse me. Is that still you? Yes, it's third quarter that we can't sign or draft. Coaches, go figure it out. Yeah, they need to go ahead and figure out how to fix the offense in that third. John Doe, there's only 17 games. How we can go 14-5? Hello? Hey, yeah, typo, man. It happens, man. It happens. All right, Great Lakes, 10-7 regular season. All right. Great Lakes, the blue collar helps, but the competition is way too high this year. All right, well, that's fair. I mean, we're going to face a tougher schedule for sure. All right, Burger Time. Are you saying that overall season, because regular season is 17 games? Could be. John Doe, 10-7 might not even make the playoffs. There is that chance too. Great Lakes, just regular season. All right, Burger Time, no problem. Ain't it nice to see that there's still good people out there? Yes, there is. Great Lakes, every team we play this year is basically a playoff team besides the Bears, and they're much better, most likely. Where can I see photos of the T-shirts? I know I put some in the chats in prior shows. You could probably text Anthony. He could send you over some as well. All right, Great Lakes, what is it with the third quarter? Do we take naps at halftime? It's a big question. What has caused the problems? Just, hey, teams come out, they make adjustments, and we've been slow to adjust to their adjustments, the counterpunch. Lynn, 10 wins, question mark. That's a bad year now. I would agree. Can't afford 7 losses. That may not make the playoffs some years. This is also true. Great Lakes, I hope for more, no doubt, but look at the schedule. We need every home game this year, especially since we eat Thanksgiving dinner before each game that week. Yeah, we've got to fix the Thanksgiving Day debacle. Little linebacker still important. I agree. Broski, slamming the Millennium Falcon into an asteroid. Yeah, let's try to avoid that. Who doesn't like the Millennium Falcon? Phil, anyone else need a Duke Crew guitar? Hey, I think when we get the Duke Crew tailgate to happen, I know some of you guys said you'd play. We're going to bring out some Duke Crew guitars for the musically gifted to play. The non-laughers, are we realistically going for Gilmore? How many cornerbacks is too many? Hey, I guess you could sign them all and figure out who the top 6 or 7 are. Ludell, remember Barnes went down against 49ers. We need good depth there too. Yeah, and thankfully Rodrigo came in and made a play or two. Great Lakes D, all right? Great Lakes with Davis 3 injury history, we will need another top cornerback, in my opinion. We'll go with that. Shadow Man, hey, do you think St. Brown will be signed? Question mark. Is it normal to take this long? Yeah, it will happen probably over the summer. I would say that's where a lot of extensions typically happen, is over the June and July months. Phil, again, good morning, Phil. With Reader's injury history, we need a nose backup too. I still hope they go for Sweat from Texas, but we'll see if that happens. Shadow, Caleb will be a bust. I promise. The NFL is different. He will cry as soon as he throws 2 picks and fumbles. And he did have a lot of fumbles in college. Great Lakes. Bears made the most idiotic trade either fields that I've seen in my 40-plus years of watching football. Their front office knows how to spend money, but that's about it. All right. Phil, Bears need a better coaching staff. They might be forced into one. All right, guys, it's been an hour. I'll get a couple more in here and then get out of here. Shadow, Broski, don't worry about the Lions defense. You should be worried about your horrible offense. All right. Great Lakes, bring Zach Zenner back. Yeah, I wonder what happened to that guy. 9 drinks. Why hasn't Micro Mike been on live yet? It could be that when we go on live. I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to come on to one of the early morning shows. I can tell you, though, not everybody likes getting on at 7 a.m., though. I figured that one out. Broski. Silver Server, good call with Frazier. He's the best center in the draft and is a plug and play starter. Jackson Powers Johnson doesn't have the technique or experience yet to be a starting NFL center yet. We'll go with that. Don Kong, Michael Mike can't get up this early. Could be some truth to that. I'm going to start a 5 to 6 a.m. show. Do it, man. Go for it and make that happen, man. Let me know if you need anything. All right, Great Lakes. I think it would be a great idea to switch Taylor to guard eventually, extend that career. Yeah, and I wonder if he'd be open to it. I do think he'd be able to play it. I do think it would extend his career exponentially. All right, Anthony, I'm up at 5, Donkey. There you go. Anthony, Taylor Swift, very good. Phil Knight, oh boy, yep. All right, Great Lake State guy. Taylor Swift will be pregnant next season. They need new material. They will. All right, Matthew, there was also a hold on Jack Campbell that allowed Dak to make the pass. I do think you are correct. If I go by memory, I think you are spot on with that. All right, guys, time to get out of here. Time to go see Bobby at the Circle K, get that morning dew and hot dog. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're like 5 or 6 subs away from 6,100. So if you'd be willing to help out with that, I would be thankful. Other than that, if you would hit the thumbs up button, if there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get on the air as fast as possible with it. Take care. Enjoy your day. We'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.